welcome to SortaOkay Reviews, where every fandom's welcome. I'm Nathan Bedard.
I'm Brad Newton.
And today, we're reviewing Deadpool 2.
Yeah, this movie, was really funny. I think I like this movie better than the first one.
Well, I mean, we have Deadpool. With this movie, Ryan Reynolds tried to get it off the ground for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, he's not had the best track record. And, you know, Deadpool was horribly done in Origins. And then we got the great, spectacular Deadpool movie that we got a couple years ago.
With a shoestring budget.
Yeah, very small budget. And this thing just blew up. Ryan Reynolds was born to play this role. And we wanted more. And we got more. And it's the second coming.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen other reviews, and people were saying that they liked the first one better. I don't know. I think I like this one better. They're both good.
I've heard it kind of go back and forth. I've heard some people say, I like the second one better. I've heard some people say, it depends on what you like. If you want more of a fun comedy, little action, I don't know, more fun and comedy, you're going to like Deadpool 2 better. If you like a little bit more of a grounded story, you're going to like Deadpool 1 better. But I think they both fit perfectly in their own way.
Okay. So, what was your just overall impressions without going into too much detail? What did you think about the movie?
Overall, freaking loved it. I knew what I was looking for going in, and I knew what I got, and I got what I expected, and I loved it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, you were more hyped for this movie than I was, but I went into it, and I think this might be my favorite comedy ever. Just because the jokes were pretty much written for, superhero nerds like us. So, I think this might be my favorite comedy. But let's just go ahead and do our ranking real quick, and then we'll get into spoilers and talk about the...
I think I can do it for the both of us. It's going to be sort of spectacular. And if you need real quick, the way we do our ratings, SortaOkay is a C, sorta good
is a B,
sorta spectacular
is an A. Sort of perfect is an A+. It's like a 10, perfect movie. And then sort of awful is an F. And then sort of bad is a D. Yep. So that's how we're rating. So we're giving this an A. Deadpool's an A. That's sort of spectacular. So I think, go see it. We're probably going to go see it again eventually.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of jokes we missed.
Okay. Warning. Spoiler. We're just going to go ahead and talk about everything in the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, go get your tickets. Go see the movie. Then come back and start this video, but you've been warned. Spoiler starting now.
So what was your favorite joke?
Oh boy. Okay, so the favorite joke was when he was growing back his legs, because one of the best things was when he was growing back his arm, and this was kind of like a reference.
Yeah, the callback.
But I love how he kept he had his friend from the bar, he had Domino there, and he actually had Cable. And it was kind of funny how they were talking shit about him, and he was actually in the back the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just kept flipping his legs over, and at
they had the Basic Instinct reference. It's from a movie when he did that.
And at one point, you actually do see his feet, and everyone was like, "Oh."
yeah, that's the Basic Instinct reference.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite jokes, and
Yeah, I think mine is just the superhero references. I think there's just so many of them scattered throughout the movie. We get Juggernaut in this movie, and my favorite joke I think is he makes the sun's getting real low to Juggernaut.
Yeah, no, when he's fighting, he makes the Hulk reference. He's like, sun's getting real low there, pal.
I think and then in the writing at the beginning when they're doing the James Bond intro, it says Logan.
And it's Wolverine, Logan. And he's impaled by the stick, and he clicks the stick, and he just starts spinning around. And everyone in the theater when we saw this was just like, oh.
It's reminding us of the tragedy that was.
And he also says it, he's like, damn you, Logan, you died before me.
It's you copied my rated R. It's well, guess what? I'm gonna die in this movie too.
Yeah, and and we get the bit, we get a good start, action, just fun, Deadpool's just out, traveling the world, killing
being
people.
An assassin. That, reminds me of, what Deadpool actually is, he's an assassin that travels all over the world.
The merc with the mouth, yep.
Yeah.
And, then we come back, and one of the benefits of this movie, I think, is, in the comics, Deadpool's really outrageous, and really kind of, he's just not a grounded character in any sense, and I actually do like how they kind of do that in a non- overbearing way to where it kills the character of Deadpool. They just give him a simple, he has his girlfriend, he has his girl that he loves, and it makes him just a little bit realistic, and it makes you something to relate with him with. And
yeah, but I don't think the only time he's ever serious is when he's around her, so
which is good. And they even joke, but they joke in a
real like
couple
way.
way. Yeah.
But she dies early in the movie, so he can just go crazy and be Deadpool.
And that was funny too, how like when they killed her, and then we started seeing that like 007 like opening with the really in-depth song by Celine Dion. It's just funny how like they're doing the same thing where it's like directed by an asshat, and then like but at the beginning they're like, wait a minute, did they just really kill her? What the hell happened? What is this bullshit? And
the real villains is written by the real villains.
Yeah, written by the real, and then like the guy who killed John Wick's dog. Like, nobody will ever forget that.
Yeah. So like we know the basic story from the trailer. Like let's just speed up going through the movie. Cable's after this kid, which they meet, and this kid has killed Cable's family, so Cable comes back in time to kill him.
Yeah,
as a kid.
They really do simplify Cable's backstory a little bit, and I know some people aren't gonna like that, but I didn't mind it because I vaguely remember his real origin story, and it's very, very complex. And it just for this movie, I think that they fit a backstory to fit this movie, and it did wonderful. And Josh Brolin, bravo to that man, because damn, that guy's just a badass.
Yeah, and to go through all the jokes in this movie would probably take us too long, so we get Deadpool, he gets locked up with this kid together. He's the mutant trainee. Well, that was a good joke. Or the X-Men trainee joke they kept on doing over and over again.
Yeah, Colossus finds him at his lowest point, brings him, and we actually get a little cameo of the X-Men, because he's just like, what the hell? Why can't the studio just afford some of the X-Men? What about the guy with the bird, like the
Angel,
wings?
Yeah.
And then they pan over to the side, and you just see all the X-Men from like the newest movies,
the first class,
first class, and they're just like, ooh, and they close the door so like, they don't notice.
It's like, yeah, they don't want anything to do with Deadpool. They're like, no one's ever here because no one likes Deadpool, so they're like, nah.
And but we really get that relation between Colossus and Deadpool, and he goes out.
Yukino.
Yep.
And that's like one of the great running jokes of the movie.
Yeah, because like that's Negasonic's girlfriend, and she just every time he's just like, bye Yukio, and she's like, bye Wei, and like they have that cute little bye thing. But yeah, he goes out in the field, and he pretty much he doesn't act like an X-Men. He figures out that the kid was getting abused.
Yeah. We're in the prison now. He decides that he's dying because he's basically a tumor without his powers. He tells the kid to make somebody bigger, stronger friend. Cable comes in. He tries to break him out. Yeah. Unsuccessfully.
Nope. And then he pretty much realizes he needs to save this kid. That's what he needs to do. That's what like his ghost girlfriend, I guess we could call it, is telling him to do.
Essentially death in this movie, yes.
Yeah, and so he makes it this whole adventure to go save this kid, and he pretty much gathers up the X-Force.
Which he thinks that'll be a big part of the movie, and then they introduce everybody, and then literally the next scene, they're all dead.
Nope, and it fit well, because some of these characters, they really, honestly, they die, and, they didn't need to play a big part, and it wasn't, huge character. Shatterstar might have been kind of huge, but the way they can easily redo him, but yeah, they all and they make it a joke, and it's funny. And
Domino's the only one that survives, and I thought that's cool because Domino and Deadpool
is lucky.
Yeah.
Yep. And and she's phenomenal in this movie. That's one thing I heard about going into this movie is she's very she was great. Character.
And then so we get we learn that Juggernaut's as I already mentioned in this movie, the kid Fire Fist is his name, makes friends with Juggernaut. And then he completely just destroys Deadpool and rips him in half.
God, I love how they did Juggernaut in this movie, because the first time they did him, it was god awful. Because Juggernaut is a behemoth. He is strong, and he wrecks a whole entire bridge.
Yeah,
and just he destroys things.
His power's crazy.
And it was funny too. Deadpool was like, "I love you. I love
all your comic book appearances." Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's how he gets. And then we pretty much lead up to Cable asking for Deadpool's help, and we learn why. And
yeah, you learn Cable's motivations more so.
And the kid's going to kill the guy who was abusing him at the orphanage. And then so we get kind of the new X-Force, Cable, Deadpool, Domino, and Colossus comes. Well, he asked for Colossus's help in a funny way.
But yeah, that stereo outside the.
And he doesn't go. He's he doesn't get him initially. And then they're fighting the Juggernaut, and then all of a sudden Wade gets stabbed in the head, and in the first one when he got shot in the head, you just see that there's a really lovable music, and he's just looking at Colossus and
like, I want to bang Colossus.
Yeah, and he's just like holding his head. He's like, oh, I love you, and he's just carrying him. And then we get a really cool, and they even sedate it, CGI battle.
Yeah. So now, like, they did Colossus better in Deadpool, now they've done Juggernaut better in Deadpool, and then we get the fight between them, and then Colossus is like, yep, I'm actually gonna fight dirty this time.
Yeah, and he, like, and it's funny how he fights dirty, too. He's just...
And we get that Juggernaut butt, we see.
We see the Juggernaut booty. And, like, also, like, but we're getting to the end of it, and, like, we secretly get the X-Force suit, like, pretty much the kid, like...
burns his suit,
and it just turns it gray. Color, yeah. But then we get to, like, the climax of the movie where, like,
he gets the longest death scene ever, which is pretty funny too.
He risks his life to pretty much show the kid that he does care, and the kid realizes, okay, yeah, I need to stop. He does care. Like, I do have friends. And yeah, we get the funniest, like, death scene. He's just like,
he tries to die like 3 times.
He just sits there and he's just like, oh yeah, that's not the light. That's the sun. Don't look at it. It's just so funny, and pretty much what I thought going in. I'm like, okay, he's gonna get there, and she's gonna be like, "It's not your time."
Yeah.
And it's not.
And so we learn that Cable uses his last charge to go back in time to use the coin to save him. And he's like, he used the time travel thing to save me. And then we get at the very end that, you know, like the X-Force, the new
yeah,
X-Force
they're walking
characters.
away, and then like the douchebag orphanage guy's like, oh, the day of reckoning, and then we get Dofenberg. He's trying to be one of the assassins like Wade and all them, but you know he's a taxi driver. He doesn't really implement that killer vibe, but he comes in with the taxi and kills him, and he's like, yeah, and then like he calls him Brown Panther. But yeah, and then like that's pretty much the end of the movie. It was like I said, from start to finish, it was just funny. It was fun.
It's not like a super deep story. It's just
nope. And the one great thing about Deadpool is there's so many things that if this was another movie, it would be bad. They can get away with it. Like just whenever a heavy CGI scene, he's like, oh yeah, CGI.
Yeah, and the continuity, the timeline, the X-Men's all messed up. It's like it doesn't really matter at this point. Because, like, the First Class cast should be super old at this point, but it doesn't really matter. It was just cool that they got him in the movie. And we should also talk about... There is an end credit scene. It's like probably the greatest end credit scene in any superhero movie ever. It's
kind of like one long end credit scene, but it is one of the best. Yeah, we see that, and he calls her 11. She's fixing Cable's device, and she hands it to Deadpool, and she's like, "Shit, we probably shouldn't have done that." and it just like if time.
So he goes back. I think he goes back first to save
his girlfriend.
To save his girlfriend, which makes the entire movie just didn't happen because
in that way it could, but I don't know. We just don't know.
Well, I mean, he did go back and save Peter or whatever the guy's name was too.
Yeah, he did go. He saved Peter, and then it gets to the funny ones.
Yeah.
He goes back to X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he shoots the original the first Deadpool
with like the mouth closed thing.
Yeah, and he shoots him like ba 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 ba.
He's like, don't mind me. He's like, I'm just fixing the timelines.
Yeah, and then we get the other one that he did, Green Lantern. We see him
like Ryan Reynolds like about to accept the script for Green Lantern. No.
He's like, oh, I saved you, but it's just funny. Like, he knows that he was in bad movies. He knows it, and he uses it to advantage, and I love it. But this movie was, like, it's everything I expected. Like, I know a lot of people hate the word fun, but, I mean, that's what I expected in this movie. I wasn't expecting a deep, deep, deep story, and I don't know. I found it more personally enjoyable than the first one. I will say the first one does have a more simple, better... just start to finish story though.
Yeah, and then like this is kind of like on the opposite spectrum because we just came off of Infinity War and like the dark ending that Infinity War had, and
plus the grand spectacle of Infinity War. It's just this
was like a grounded story again.
I think it does make people think like, oh gosh, I didn't walk out of the theater maybe like 10 years of anticipation. No, this is. But it's still something great. It's already breaking as we're doing this review. It's like already the highest grossing rated R movie. And but we loved it.
Yep.
Any final thoughts?
No. Again, go see it. I mean, it's really funny. If you like the first Deadpool, if that's your type of comedy, go see it. I mean, you'll love this one if you love the first one.
Yep. And we're sorry for the delay on the videos. They are coming. We're busy. We just have regular jobs.
Lives.
Yeah, regular jobs and stuff. But we have much content coming up. So be on the lookout for that. And remember, as soon as we hit 50 subscribers, $20 Amazon gift card we're giving away. We have other giveaways in the works, so make sure you're subscribing and make sure you're watching our content. But that's going to do it for us. We hope you enjoyed.
And as always, hit that subscribe button right there, and there'll be another review up here.
Alright, that's it for us. Thank you very much, and have a good day.